At 7 a.m., my security cameras caught her, our HOA president, storming onto my property with a crowbar. She ripped my handcrafted shutters off the cabin I built with my own hands. She called it ugly. But what she didn't know, her house was about to become the neighborhood dump. My name's Garrett, and 3 years ago, I thought I had found paradise. After serving 25 years as a Navy engineer, I wanted peace. My late wife, Sarah, always dreamed of a rustic life. She said modern houses felt cold, like dental offices with drywall. So, with my savings, I bought 2 acres at the edge of Whisper Wind Estates, Colorado. The air smelled of pine, the mornings filled with birdsong. Over 18 months, I built my dream cabin, real log construction, not prefabricated trash. I salvaged barnwood from my grandfather's farm. Every beam told a story, smoothed by decades of Iowa winters. Solar panels captured sunrise, rain barrels caught mountain storms, and wildflowers swayed in the breeze like nature's applause. Neighbors' homes were beige, cookie-cutter boxes. Mine was different, alive, authentic, a piece of art. Sarah would have loved running her hands along the beams. She would have laughed at how unique it looked compared to the sterile houses nearby. Back then, I thought I had found peace. I had no idea my cabin would spark a war. And the general of that war? A woman who lived just down the street, obsessed with lawns and control. Her name was Vivian Blackwood, but everyone knew her as the neighborhood's Karen. She was 58, a former compliance officer, someone who'd report a lemonade stand for lacking permits. Her house? A 4,200 square foot McMansion with plastic perfection. The lawn was so neon green it looked radioactive. The air around it smelled of chemicals like a fertilizer factory. Every shrub trimmed with military precision. Every flower planted in color-coordinated rows. When the HOA formed, Vivian ran unopposed for president. She patrolled the streets in her spotless white SUV, clipboard in hand, eyes sharp as a hawk. Neighbors whispered. The suburban Grim Reaper had arrived. And her favorite target? My cabin. She claimed it detracted from community visual harmony. In certified letters stamped with red ink, she fined me for aesthetic disruption. $500 here, $750 there. She called my shutters ugly, my wildflowers non-compliant, even said my stone walkway was dangerous. She didn't see individuality. She saw defiance. I thought reason would work. I sent her proof my cabin predated the HOA. Her response? Silence, then more letters. That's when I realized this wasn't about rules. This was about control. And Vivian wanted war. Vivian didn't just write letters. She escalated. She sent her 20-something nephew, Brandon, pretending to be an architectural consultant. He showed up in a rusty truck, carrying a tape measure like it was Excalibur. He scribbled nonsense on his clipboard, claiming my cabin violated setbacks by 18 inches. Then came the fines, $2,000, plus $100 daily until corrections were made. She accused my walkway of being unpermitted hardscaping. She called my wildflowers weeds. She even claimed my wind chimes disrupted community harmony. But Vivian wasn't satisfied with paperwork. One morning, I caught her hired crew trimming branches near my solar panels. They weren't trimming, they were sabotaging. Bolt cutters hovered over my wiring while workers joked about making it look like storm damage. Luckily, my military paranoia paid off. My cameras recorded everything in 4K. When the police showed up, they caught the crew red-handed. 2 arrests followed. The receipt in their pocket? $800 cash from Vivian Blackwood. The message was clear. She would do anything to destroy my cabin. But here's the thing about people drunk on power. Eventually, they forget their own glass house. And Vivian's McMansion had more cracks than she ever realized. That turning point arrived with a knock on my door. It was Rex, my 73-year-old neighbor, a retired surveyor. He'd seen Brandon fumbling with his tape measure. "Son," Rex said, sipping his coffee, "that boy couldn't measure a sidewalk straight. Want me to show you what 18 inches actually looks like?" Minutes later, Rex had professional equipment set up, laser-precise, military-grade. His results? My cabin sat 4 feet inside the setback line. My walkway was installed years before the HOA even existed. Brandon's report was fiction. And then came the bombshell. Through a friend at the county office, we discovered Vivian's property wasn't the flawless palace she pretended it was. Her McMansion was riddled with unpermitted additions, including a swimming pool built 12 feet over setback. Her deck was illegal. Her property taxes, thousands unpaid. But the real twist? Whisper Wind Estates had been built on an old industrial landfill. The chemical smell in the air wasn't just her fertilizer. It was methane gas leaking through the soil. And guess whose house sat right on the lowest point of the contaminated ground? Vivian's. That was the moment I knew. She wasn't going to destroy me. She was about to destroy Herschel. We got organized. Rex turned his garage into headquarters. Neighbors filed in one by one, sharing horror stories. Mrs. Luna fined for roses being the wrong shade of red. The Patterson kids punished for a tire swing. Tom Brightwell ticketed for parking his work truck in his own driveway. Vivian had terrorized everyone. Now they were ready to fight back. We brought in professionals. A structural engineer inspected my cabin. No issues, built to last a century. Meanwhile, environmental scientist Dr. Janet Cross tested Vivian's property. Her readings spiked: methane gas, contaminated soil, unsafe groundwater. The illegal pool had punctured the containment barrier. Our attorney explained the beauty of it all. Environmental law trumps HOA law. If a property caused contamination, it could be seized, repurposed, or fined heavily. And Vivian's McMansion was ground zero. We compiled a mountain of evidence. Photos, surveys, contamination maps, sworn testimonies. It was airtight. Vivian fought back: lawyers, threats, even smear campaigns. But each time, she only dug herself deeper. When county inspectors arrived, she tried to bribe them with cash. They slapped handcuffs on her instead. The neighborhood united, the law on our side, and the evidence undeniable. Vivian's fortress wasn't just crumbling. It was about to become the most ironic building in the state, the official neighborhood dump site. The day of her downfall is seared into my memory. County officials arrived in hazmat suits, surrounding Vivian's mansion with warning signs. Bright yellow tape stretched across her perfect lawn. Neighbors gathered to watch as inspectors treated her palace like a toxic crime scene. Her reaction? Pure denial. She screamed it was harassment, blamed the previous owner, even claimed her pool was a decorative water feature. Finally, in desperation, she accused me of planting chemicals in her soil at night. But the evidence was overwhelming. EPA tests showed contamination levels 400% over safety limits. Her property wasn't just unsafe, it was poisoning the neighborhood. The county invoked emergency powers. Her mansion was condemned, repurposed, and designated as the Whisper Wind Community Waste Collection Site. When the first garbage trucks arrived, the irony was delicious. The hydraulic whine echoed across the street as dumpsters rolled onto her pristine driveway. Where her Lexus once gleamed, giant bins now overflowed with trash. Rex raised his beer and toasted. Sometimes karma comes with a garbage truck. Vivian watched from the curb, her face red enough to power Christmas lights. She had tried to make my cabin disappear. Instead, her own house became the dump for the entire neighborhood. From that day forward, Whisper Wind Estates was never the same. Property values soared, freed from her tyranny. The HOA dissolved, neighbors smiled again, and our community thrived. My cabin still stands just as Sarah and I designed it. Wildflowers bloom, solar panels hum, and the stone walkway glows under mountain sunsets. A bronze plaque by the door reads, "Sarah's dream, built with love." And Vivian? She was banned from HOA leadership, slapped with environmental fines, and forced to serve community service cleaning real dumps. Her mansion remains the neighborhood's official collection site, a monument to her arrogance. Every Tuesday morning, as garbage trucks roll into her driveway, I sip my coffee and watch. She once called my cabin ugly. Now her palace is the dump. That's the kind of karma you can't make up.